Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Good morning to you. It is the 7th of May already. Look at that. As we enter into another day of beautiful weather. And we're going to be a high of about 85 today. Very slight wind as well. And we'll get your complete forecast here. Just lost a connection here real quickly, but just to repeat, the U.S. Navy has formally terminated the City of Key West lease agreement for the use of Outer Mole Pier at Naval Air Station Key West, escalating a growing dispute over cruise ship revenue, infrastructure obligations, future control of one of the island's most politically sensitive waterfront properties. That is from Above the Fold, is one of the sources that is seeing that. So, Dennis, you and I were just talking about some of the politics happening here, especially in Key West, and yet this comes out as another potentially very, very problematic issue for the city.
Well, yeah, it's going to gin things up a little bit, I would imagine. I mean, not that they're not ginned up right now. I mean, some of these things going on are just outrageous. Some of these accusations that some of these candidates are making are just ludicrous and shouldn't be involved in politics. There's some good people here that their names are getting dragged around in the mud just to gain office on the part of other people. And it's just, is that the kind of person you want to take office? People that conduct themselves like that? I don't think so.
Yeah, it has gotten kind of dirty here already. We're going to continue to follow that election, but it'll be coming up this year, the midterm election, and a lot of local politics, a lot of offices being settled here this year. One election that has already been decided, though, it is Judge Jones retiring, Judge Wilson running unopposed. And so Judge Mark Wilson has qualified unopposed to take over Circuit Court seat currently held by longtime Monroe County Judge Mark Jones. He is retiring at the end of the year. Supervisor of Elections Office, they have announced the first qualifying period for 2026 is closed and no opposition filed. So Judge Wilson will appear on the ballot unopposed. They're expected to officially secure the seat. And I know that you have been a proponent of the incoming Judge Wilson for many reasons, including his qualifications and service to our country and our county.
Absolutely. And I'm all for conservative judges, and I'm all against liberal progressive judges too, because they just decimate a community with decisions that they make and put the people's lives and property in jeopardy by not doing their jobs or bringing their political viewpoints into the courtroom. And congratulations to Judge Jones for such a wonderful term of judicial competency and professionalism. I mean, that guy is a great judge and a great person, and I wish him nothing but the best in his future. I hear that he's going to take up some defense work, criminal defense work, so it'll be interesting to see him on the other side there.
That will. But I know you've had a lot of respect for the judge, and we respect that as well, but we wish him the best. It looks like he might not be necessarily retiring, as you said. Also, you said you're on your way.
But furthermore,
yes, sir.
Judge Wilson brings years of experience, and this guy was a law professor at Penn State University, in law school. He was a highway patrolman in Wyoming. He's a very, very smart, brilliant guy. He's was I believe a staff sergeant in the Army as well. So he's got a lot of experience. He's a conservative person on the bench, and it's very important here in the Florida Keys, because once a judge gets elected or even appointed, we're stuck with them. It's like a Supreme Court appointment, because, if somebody comes out and runs against them or what have you, and in the past, this has happened, a lawyer, you got to be a lawyer for 5 years before you can run for judge. And, you run against a judge and you lose, and the next thing you know, well, I can't be fair and impartial. So you're going to have to go to another courtroom. Well, the next courtroom is Marathon if you're in Plantation Key, or the next courtroom is Marathon if you're in Key West. So there's not a lot of people that want to run against judges. So when they get in these positions, it's like a lifetime appointment.
Yeah.
And some of these things, I think that the governor's appointed a couple of judges here in the last few years, and one of them is great, one of them's fantastic. The other one is still struggling to run a calendar. I mean, it's frustrating, and it's not fair to the people in our community that rely on the judicial system, to get some type of settlement, whether they're criminal cases or civil cases, and it's just very unprofessional. But that's what happens here in a small community like this. So we're stuck where we get. And all in all, I mean, we've been lucky in most cases.
Yes.
Every once in a while, one gets through there, and it's just so frustrating in court for me and my prosecutors when you get in front of a judge who's pretty much of a progressive liberal, and we deal with victims, and we have to deal with them, and people that are victims of violent crimes, or people that have stolen their monies, their funds, in scams. They're left hanging. So these are very serious decisions here.
Yes. We're speaking with State's Attorney. It is Dennis Ward, 16th Judicial Circuit of Florida, thankfully still continuing, thanks to your grassroots efforts to preserve the 16th Judicial Circuit. And again, we have to bring that up, and thank you for that. Thank you for your service as a law enforcement officer, but also as a United States Marine, proud Marine. I will say that incoming Judge Wilson, taking the bench from Judge Jones, he was a member of the 82nd Airborne, and that is also a very esteemed division, served in Panama and elsewhere.
Sir. So, absolutely.
Yeah, so he is to be commended and thanked for his service as well. Special Assistant United States Attorney for Southern District of Florida, prosecuting federal crimes. He does come with a wealth of knowledge and experience, and it looks like he will serve us very well, continuing to serve us well on the bench. So we're thankful for that. So, Dennis, how much latitude do the judges have in a courtroom? Most people only really have the experience of what's on TV, but a courtroom, which is controlled by the judge can necessarily sway the tempo, the timbre, and the outcome of a jury. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, and the whole thing is that I don't know. I think this came from the civil portion of the Florida bar, but some years ago they said, well, these judges, they work so hard and they don't have time to run for election, and let's give them 6-year terms. You get a bad judge, you're stuck with that judge for 6 years. 6 years, right? And then you want to find out if they're progressive liberals or if they're a little bit more conservative, but you can't ask them questions like that. Oh, that may come up before me, so I can't answer that question. Well, what's your favorite color? Oh, I can't answer that one. How about your lucky number? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I've got to be fair and impartial. But they get on the bench and you start seeing. I mean, for example, let's just take the United States Supreme Court.
Yes.
These guys, these men and women all came up through this type of process, So, but you get to learn them at least by rulings that they've made over the years before they get there. So you know what you're getting. But when you get down in the lower courts, in what they call the People's Court, the county courts and the circuit courts, these people running, you have no idea who they are. They come in, from another community. Hey, I'm going to run for judge. Great. What do we know about you? We don't know anything about you.
Yeah, and
so,
the length of term for the judges here, is it 6 years? Is that what it is?
6 years.
6 years. That's what I thought. Yeah.
6 years.
It's a long time.
I mean, that's just crazy. But you talk to these butt-kissing civil attorneys in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Jacksonville and Tampa, Orlando. Oh, yes, Judge, look what we did for you guys, you know? Oh, well, thank you very much. What can I do for you on your next case? Give me a break, you know?
Yeah. And the only real recourse then is a possible appeal, but even that is certainly not assured of being granted.
Yep, yep.
Wow.
But at least you know who the appellate judges are, and depends who put them in. You know, what are they going to do? But I mean, we're talking about people's lives, people's property, and you know, their well-being, their community, our environment, our natural resources. You know, have some progressive guy up there or girl up there talking about, you know, well, you know, how about some rehabilitation? You know, oh yeah, let's give this person another opportunity to kill somebody or rape somebody, or even this clown on the federal bench. What a clown! Apologizing to a guy who's going to kill the president and his staff. I mean, anybody I can get, I'm going to kill.
Yes.
Well, we're very sorry for the way you're incarcerated. Well, you dumbass judge, I don't know where you came from, but you know, the Department of Corrections, they have a great responsibility. This guy said, well, I'm not going to be around much longer, you know. So, you know, you got to treat that as a suicide attempt or a thought of suicide. And guess what? If he kills himself in jail, I mean, look what happened with Jeffrey Epstein, right? He kills himself in jail. Oh, big investigation, all these corrections people. By the way, I mean, I think this week is corrections week.
It is, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
What a terrible job that is,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
dealing with these people. And now they come under scrutiny and they're investigated and facing possible jail time. And here's this federal court judge sitting there apologizing to this jackass that just tried to kill the president and people of his staff. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was appalled to see that as well. I mean, again, favoring this accused perpetrator, we'll put it that way, but it's pretty clear.
Right.
As you know, and giving them rights and comforts.
Yeah.
It makes very little sense. The Supreme Court these days seems to be coming out with some kind of monumental decisions, whether it's redistricting or the like. But it is amazing how much authority and power even single federal judges can have for overturning, legislative action and the like. If they have an agenda, they seem to find a way to make that known. And, again, overturning actual actions of legislatures, et cetera. It's amazing.
I mean, just look at the whole immigration issue. You know,
Right.
I mean, come on. You know, they're ridiculous. Some judge in Kansas is going to rule on a case that impacts Florida. You know, it's like, really?
Yeah. It's a bit of overreach. I would say that. State's Attorney Dennis Ward with us, 16th Judicial District for the state of Florida on Good Morning Keys. And we're going to be selecting a new grand jury with a 6-month term for them. We want to thank the grand jury for their service, and they've got a big job.
Yes, they do. And we need to thank these people. I ran into a couple of them yesterday. I was up at a chamber lunch in Ocean Reef, and I ran into the wife of one of them, and we spoke briefly. And then I ran into the secretary of the last grand jury and spoke with her for a while. And she said, it was just such a great experience. And she said, I was in between jobs at the time, and I was able to spend a lot of time. And we did call them in quite a bit, this past grand jury and the one before them. And she said, if I still had a job, I couldn't have made all those grand jury meetings. But she said I was in a good position, and it's an experience that I cherish, and I enjoyed the time there. And then the wife of the other guy that was on the grand jury, he wants to stay on there. Can you keep him on there? I said I'd love to, but we got to rotate him in and out and keep people in there.
Well,
but what a great job they did, and the one before them. There was a lot of issues there, with the city of Key West, and it was very very time consuming on the grand jurors' parts, but they were very, very good, and they listened. They're very attentive. They asked great questions. We had various witnesses appear in front of them, and they are very professional, and they learned a lot from some of the witnesses we brought in to try and educate them in the process of planning and zoning and building officials and what their jobs are and what the oversight is and what their responsibilities are. And you have to give them some type of education in that. And every once in a while, we have somebody that, is a former building official or a former construction company owner that's there in the grand jury, and they provide a lot of insight to their fellow grand jurors. And just a great couple of grand juries here, and they did a lot of things. And we were speaking earlier about a motion that the defense filed. But, now comes the hard part, putting together the case and doing the prosecuting and getting all the witnesses lined up. And then we get hit with different motions to dismiss and motions to suppress and what have you in cases every day, not just the grand jury cases, but, they get a lot of headlines and a lot of play. And, I think that, okay, you filed a motion, and we filed a response. So there'll be a hearing and there'll be a decision. If it comes out for us or if it comes out for them, I'm sure there'll probably be an appeal at some point. And it just slows down the whole process,
Yeah. Well, some of these cases take years and years. We've seen some of the homicide cases that, finally come to a conclusion after years of trial and prosecution. I did want to make note that Judge Wilson also served apparently for many years as the legal advisor to the Monroe County grand jury. So he has that.
Yes, sure did.
Yeah.
He was my chief assistant at one point, and my first term, he was my public corruption prosecutor. And we prosecuted a number of cases.
Oh, yes.
My first term, I guess the biggest one was the school superintendent and his wife that stole over $1 million from the school system. I mean, money that could be used to educate our children, fund teachers, pay and what have you. But that's the job of the state attorney. I mean, and you have these oversights, and the grand jury, they don't only look at criminal stuff. They can look at all kinds of different things. They can look at whatever they want to look at and issue reports. And some people get their nose bent out of shape, and the grand jury says, hey, maybe you should take a look at the way your city government's run, and maybe you want to do this or recommend that, and some people get upset about that. Well, I gotta have a grand jury tell me what to do. Okay, well, you do whatever you want, pal. Ask the former county administrator how that works out. So whatever you want to do. I mean, this is no battle of strength. It's we work for the people out there, and you got to keep that in mind. And these people are paying big tax dollars down here, and they want a good product, and they want government to work for them. It's I don't need to hear all this crap going on from these people. Go ahead and do your job.
Yeah, State's Attorney Dennis Ward, 16th Judicial Circuit, Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. I did notice, too, Monroe County State's Attorney's Office announced that co-defendants Derek Gonzalez and Stiff Robert Benitez adjudicated guilty, sentenced by Judge Mark Wilson in connection with residential burglary, theft of multiple firearms. They will be getting 18 months. Gonzalez got 18 months in Florida State Prison. On each of the 6 counts running concurrently, 6 years of probation as well. So some pretty stiff sentences there. Benitez, 18 months in Florida State Prison on each of the 6 counts running concurrently as well. So again, Monroe County is continuing to send the message, do not victimize our residents and visitors. You will have stiff penalties for doing so.
And Michael, we listen to jail calls all the time, and so many times we'll hear these defendants talking to their loved ones or their friends or what have you, and and so many times we hear them say that they don't come down here and do those type of things because these guys don't play down here, and it's true. I mean, you look at their criminal histories, and you'll see that they've had a number of arrests up in Dade County, and charges have been dropped or nullified or a small amount of time in the county jail or what have you. But we tell them over and over again. My sheriff, I mean, our sheriff, we've been pretty clear that we don't tolerate crime in Monroe County. So, proceed at your own risk. These drug dealers that come down here, and the way they leave here is to go up to Florida State Prison.
Yes.
And then we put on probation for a number of years after they've already served a good portion of time in the prison system. So it's a pretty clear message, and
it is.
Knock on wood, we haven't seen any fentanyl deaths in a while.
I was just going to say that, the fentanyl cases have faded from the news. And I think that is, you have to have a deterrent. And you and the Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement partners have seen to it that fentanyl cases will be vigorously prosecuted and resulting in homicide charges if there's a death resulting from a fentanyl deal as well. And I did want to make mention too, by the way, sir, you had mentioned it earlier, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, other law enforcement agencies across the nation, taking time this week to recognize employees working in our detention facilities in observation of National Correction Officers and Employees Week. That was signed as a proclamation by President Reagan in 1984. We're continuing that tradition. And we've got 136 approximately certified corrections deputies, 31 support staff in the county, and our corrections facilities in the county housing 704 inmates, daily average population of 500. So there are a number of incarcerated people in our county here under the care of the detention facility employees and corrections officers. So we salute them and thank them.
We do. And those men and women that work that job, that's one of the worst jobs that anybody can have. And I commend them and I admire them. And they're a stronger person than I am because I couldn't put up with that stuff.
Well, you put up with a lot, and we appreciate all that you do for us as well. Again, State's Attorney Dennis Ward, 16th Judicial Circuit of Florida, and we've alluded to Miami-Dade versus Monroe County. There are distinct differences, and thank goodness once again that those differences are preserved by preserving the 16th Judicial Circuit. I have to keep emphasizing that.
Did you hear they brought up Renner's name last night?
Yes, I did hear that. Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk to Dale about that.
Yeah, that will be a whole other discussion. I did hear that. Yes, sir.
How's he? He's running for governor. How's he going to answer that question when he comes down here? Hey, we wanted to consolidate you into Dade County. You want us to support you for governor? What are you kidding me?
Yeah, that would be a tough visit, I would think. Absolutely. Yeah. But hey, he's welcome to come, and we'll ask the questions. Absolutely.
It's a free state of Florida.
It is that, thankfully. Well, sir, I know you've got a lot to get to and a busy time ahead, including selecting the new grand jury. Is there anything else that we should mention at this time?
I don't think so, Michael. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And yes, Memorial Day is coming up. As we approach the 250th birthday of the United States of America, Memorial Day is for the people that gave it all, man. They gave their lives, and that's what Memorial Day is. We need to honor our war dead. Veterans, you want to honor them, wait till Veterans Day.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for that, sir. Thank you for your service and your unselfish service to our country and to our county as well. We are very indebted to you for that. Have a wonderful day, sir, and we will talk soon.
And thank you to your son for the excellent job he does up in Pennsylvania.
Yes, he is now a detective, I may have told you. And it's funny, his 3.5-year-old son gets on the phone and asks his poppy a string of questions about anything and everything. I think he's on his way to being a detective too.
And it was good seeing Phil Goodman last night. That guy does a great job for mosquito control. And maybe the next time I come on, we'll talk about mosquito control and the problems that I had with it as a state attorney and what Phil Goodman did to get that organization on board and doing the great and wonderful job it is. It's just so unfortunate that people are so bitter in politics in this county that they went out and found a guy to run against him. And that's just a Republican running against a Republican. But that's the way the Republican Party of Monroe County is conducting themselves. And it's just terrible. Always good talking to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Take
Sure,
care.
buddy.
Bye
Bye.
now. Dennis Ward, State's Attorney, 16th Judicial Circuit Court of, Circuit of Florida. Make that. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. A busy morning here. We'll get right back to it in just a moment. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys.
And then one day you had children of your own. As the years went by raising your kids, you saw how it takes love and sacrifice you didn't know were possible. In that moment, you could finally see just how beautiful your mom is. I'm Armando Gonzalez, president and owner of Blue Marlin Jewelry in Islamorada and in Key West. Growing up, we can't realize what mom gives us. The heartache, the sorrows, the joy she experiences, the way her heart stretches beyond what she knew possible. Show the mom in your life how special she is with a beautiful gift from Blue Marlin Jewelry. We have a wonderful selection of quality jewelry that you won't find in other stores. Hand-selected from artists including our signature collection, to Quarry, we have genuine Tocha coins, Roberto coin, and so much more. Some things can never be put into words, but they can be captured in a gift she'll treasure forever because it comes from the one she loves more than anything. That would be you. Blue Marlin Jewelry, 81549 Old Highway in Islamorada, and in Key West at 718 Caroline Street. We're open 9:30 to 5:30 Monday through Saturday, 11 to 5 on Sunday. Online, bluemarlinjewelry.com.
Attention Key West! The Rotary Club of Key West invites you to step into the speakeasy as they present the Roaring Twenties Casino Night, Saturday, May 16th from 6:30 to 11 p.m. at Beachside Resort. This isn't just another fundraiser, it's your night, Key West, where the clinking of conch chips meets the swell of live jazz from the Key West Jazz Society, and where every roll of the dice and flip of a card sends another local student closer to their dreams. Enjoy tastings and sips from Naughty Beach Rum and El Bandito Tequila, as well as non-alcoholic beverages, a 360-degree photo opportunity, a live raffle and auction, prizes for the best costume, and of course, what's a casino night without a variety of casino games? Proceeds from this event funds Rotary Foundation scholarships, giving our community students the support they deserve. Pre-sale early bird tickets available now for $100, which includes $150 in conch chips, or purchase at the door for $150, which includes $100 in conch chips. Step back in time for the Key West Rotary Club's Roaring Twenties Casino Night, Saturday night, May 16th. For tickets and more information, visit kwrotarycasinonight.org. Special thanks to title sponsor Hank's Hair of the Dog Saloon.
Step back in time. Step back into Old Town. Step into Old Town Bakery with fresh baked treats like pastries, cookies, brownies, and fresh breads made every morning. Enjoy hot and cold delicious ground coffee always brewing and handcrafted breakfast and lunch sandwiches made to order on oven fresh breads. And now Old Town Bakery features spinach mushroom feta quiche and ham and cheese quiche, delectable for breakfast or lunch by the slice. Get a whole quiche pie by ordering in-store with 24 hours advance notice. And enjoy new cream-filled croissants with chocolate or vanilla filling and award-winning fresh baked pies, including their key lime pie, voted the best in the Keys. Pick up their unique Old Town Bakery t-shirts for a friend or yourself and give the gift of deliciousness with a gift card available for purchase in-store. And their catering menu is available to make that next event memorable. Old Town Bakery on the corner of Eaton and Grinnell. Stop in or order online. OldTownBakeryKeyWest.com.
Good morning, Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. It is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Once again, the breaking news of the morning. It is being reported that the Navy has terminated the Key West Mole Pier lease after months of growing tension over a lack of cruise revenue, repairs, etc. Federal notice extends. The current agreement actually ends at August 3rd. Critics fear private lease could reopen door to larger cruise ships at the Mole Pier. Those are all the words in the reporting of Above the Fold online, but we'll continue to follow that developing story. We're also following the election cycle, which is well underway, and we're following Tim Urbanski. He is running for utility board member, and let's talk to Tim right now. Hello, Tim. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well today. Thank you much.
Yes, thanks so much for being here. So you have committed to running for utility board. You're a Big Pine resident. You've been here since 2014, heralding originally from Pennsylvania. But let's start with this. What made you decide to commit to running for political office?
Well, I have been involved in local politics in the Keys ever since I moved here. Prior to that, I was involved in local politics in Pennsylvania, not nearly as strong as I am right now. Um, the utility board is not a political position. Everybody should understand that right up front. It is a nonpartisan position. Basically, it's a job, and I'm asking the voters to hire me to do the job for them. I believe I have the skills, the knowledge, the abilities to do that. My whole career, I've worked in the government. I've managed major budgets. I've handled contracting, labor relations, labor negotiations, dealt with fair labor standards issues, and looked at and designed programs from cradle to grave where you come up with a concept and you have to do operation and maintenance on it all the way through its life cycle to include training and then end the program. And I see Keys Energy as a well-run company that has identical problems to every kind of program I ever ran for the government. They have issues ongoing, and I serve my community in many aspects as the vice president of the local Moose Lodge. I am the vice chairman of the Republican Executive Committee for all of Monroe County. I'm a life member of many organizations, the VFW and a few others. But something I've always done my whole life is serve my community, and it's me, it's who I am. Specifically with the utility board, starting in 2018, two of the five member persons on the board were permitted to be from the county, from the 7 Mile Bridge to Key West.
Mm-hmm.
In 2018, 20, 22, and 24, those two persons are the same people, and they basically live in Big Coppet, and they're very close to Key West, and they're Key West residents originally. They're graduated from Key West High School, and a lot of their thoughts all are circled around Key West, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I bring ideas. I bring a perspective from Big Pine Key, from the upper end of the lower Keys. And I think that I can serve on the utility board, not only overseeing a very complex utility, but perhaps when necessary, bringing in some fresh new ideas to improve, if possible, the way things are done.
So you are seeking seat D on the utility board, correct?
That is correct, CD.
Mm-hmm. And is that separated by region, or do you oversee all of the
No,
operations?
all five members have equal authority on the board, and all five members are voted from all precincts 1 through 17, which covers Key West all the way up to the northern end of the 7 Mile Bridge.
Mm-hmm. That's an
Of course, nobody lives on the 7 Mile Bridge, so you might as well say the southern end of the 7 Mile
Fred the
Bridge.
tree. We can't forget Fred the tree.
No, we cannot forget Fred, and nobody's really living at the other areas there.
Understood. Tim Urbanski, he's running for utility board seat D. Captain Tim Urbanski.
Yes.
Am I safe to assume that that comes from your distinguished service in the U.S. Army, including service in Vietnam?
Not correct.
Okay, well, I made a wrong assumption, but nonetheless.
That's okay. That's a good assumption. I am a United States Coast Guard licensed charter captain. I have been for well over 50 years.
Yes.
I've operated boats, East Coast, West Coast, other islands. I've delivered boats in some pretty strange areas in other countries, and I still maintain my charter license. I occasionally will assist people running on their boats. My passion as a charter captain has been diving and tournaments, fishing tournaments.
Well, you do understand the keys then if you are a captain as well. But we also do want to thank you for your distinguished service in the U.S. Army and also attending the PA Military College. Tim Urbanski is running for utility board seat D. Tim, if you can explain a little bit more what the utility board actually does, what is its function, and then how is it that you feel there's a strong fit between your skill set and your background and the office that you're seeking?
The utility board provides oversight for the Keys Energy Company. Keys Energy is a public utility. Under Florida Statute 366, which defines public utilities, It also brings in the fact that public utilities have to have a board overseeing them. We have a board of trustees over many organizations, the College of the Florida Keys, the hospital. There's many places where public boards exist. In this case, the utility board, I don't want to say they're a sanity checker, but that's a good term in a way. They help Keys Energy by providing guidance. Keys Energy has great engineers. They know what they're doing. They know how to run their programs, but the public requires a venue for input from the public to interface between the public and the Keys Energy personnel, and that's what the utility board does. They manage major contracts and approve major contracts to be issued, contracts such as one ongoing right now on corrosion prevention for all the steel utility poles. We have an issue in the Keys with the wooden poles that need to be monitored and checked for deterioration. That's another ongoing program. Keys Energy also has, and I recently went to a board meeting, a special meeting where they talked about investments. They have a fund set aside, personal, for investments for survivability, for long-term growth of the company. They use the return from those investments for projects and programs to benefit the Keys customers. The utility board provides, it's not management oversight, but it is actually guidance and oversight for the management of Keys Energy to assure the public and assure Keys Energy they're doing the right thing.
Captain Tim Urbanski, he is running for utility board seat D on Keys Talk 96.9 102.5, the talk of the Keys. And then the second part of my question would be, why is it that you feel that your skill set is a good fit? And it's really kind of has an obvious answer, seeing as you had over 38 years in civil service, as well as operating small businesses and overseeing very complex projects, whether they be in the electrical sector or mechanical sector or otherwise. You have run many projects of that nature, and also wetland and ecology consulting company. It does seem like you have the background necessary for understanding the operations of an entity such as Keys Energy.
Well, let me start at the beginning there. I went to Pennsylvania Military College, went active in the Army. When I got out of the Army, I started to work at the Naval Base in Philadelphia on the shipyard side. And I started right at the bottom, just like Keys Energy folks started. I was a journeyman with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 902. I started as electrical and electronics journeyman. We worked on ships. We worked on some buildings in the base. And then I got promoted and moved to an apprentice instructor for 5 or 6 years, teaching electrical and electronics. I ultimately moved to an electronic and engineering command that was based out of St. Inigo's, Maryland. But we all stayed in Philadelphia. Nobody moved. The boss changed. And from there, I started in the programs dealing with computers, digital imagery, and large databases that were basically on the aircraft carriers and large deck amphibians. Slowly but surely, I worked higher and higher into management, becoming a program manager, a major program manager for the Navy. For a lot of years, I came down to Boca Chica Naval Air Station overseeing a project that was going on there. I wouldn't say that was my first introduction to the Keys, but it certainly was a major introduction to Key West, because when you go to Boca Chica, you stay in Key West. And it was fun.
Yeah.
But during that whole career, I handled everything that dealt with programs, budgeting, personnel matters, contracting. I was a contracting officer's representative for many years, handling some contracts that rivaled the amount of dollars that the entire Monroe County budget equals. I dealt with personnel problems. I dealt with decisions handling the full life cycle of a program from cradle to grave. I use that term frequently because people don't understand when you come up with a program, much like Keys Energy, you have to think about, where do you start? How do you start distributing power? How do you operate it? How do you maintain it? And there are many facets in Keys Energy where my skills are directly applicable to the necessary decisions to be made. Things with labor, things with contracting, things with pension plans. I recently also went to the investment uh, meeting that the Keys Energy had, and I understood exactly what their investment advisors were talking about, how they plan short-term, long-term investments, and how the return on these investments will not only help the company, but help the customers. Uh, I've had people ask me, the first thing they say is, I never knew we had a utility board. And well, that could be common because many people don't know how the government works. And then the second thing people would say to me is, well, can you make my electric rates go down? Can you make them lower? Um, Unfortunately, that many factors drive that. We are in a unique area. I often have heard it discussed as an area of critical concern. For electric distribution, I would term it an area of critical need. We not only have extremely high voltage transmission lines coming all the way down from the mainland, they run along a narrow road area. They run over the water. We've got salt water right next to electricity, and that's not a good mix at times. We have sailboats going under the lines. We've seen an incident or two where we've had sailboats hit a transmission line and take it out. Auto accidents. Anybody that doesn't think US 1 has a lot of auto accidents should go out and watch the road sometime.
Yes, sir.
There are many things that Keys Energy does. Many things the utility board oversees, provides guidance and management on. And I believe my lifetime skills, knowledges, and abilities fit those needs perfectly.
Well, and you have served our community since you've been here in many capacities, a few of which we touched on, but it seems like your commitment to running for public office and serving is an extension of your feeling the need to commit to the community and serve the community.
That is correct.
Yes, sir. Tim for utilityboard.com. Tim, the number 4 utilityboard.com is where you find out more. You could also have a conversation face to face and get to meet Tim tonight, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Blue Flamingo Resort. There's a meet and greet for candidates. Tim Urbanski running for Utility Board Seat D. Also at the event will be Shaylin Shaw. She's running for School Board Member District 5, and Alex Osborne is running for Mosquito Control Board District 2. They will all be at the Blue Flamingo Resort, 3820 North Roosevelt Boulevard, Key West, starting at 5:30 again. The opportunity for a meet and greet with those candidates, including Tim. So we encourage all to attend and get to know Tim a little bit better, which we've attempted to do here this morning. So, Tim, I think that's been a very good overview. People can, again, learn more about you online and at the event. Is there anything else, though, at this particular time that we should be mentioning?
Just that I believe voters need to understand this is a job. As I said, it's a job. The voters are hiring who they want to represent them in between myself and the other individual running. And maybe they should think about if they had to hire somebody to represent them in their personal lives, to help them make decisions on their health, their finance, their house. Who would they hire? And I asked them to look at me, look at my qualifications and background, look at the other individual, look at his qualifications and background, look at our skills. Choose the person who best fits the job, not the favorite son, but the best person for the job. This is what it is. It's a job.
Mm-hmm. Tim Urbanski running for Utility Board Seat D. And I always try to be unbiased, but when I look at your skills and your background, Captain Tim, I must say that I'd be concerned as to how we could afford someone of your qualifications. So let's just elect you instead. That's a better idea.
I'm up for that.
Very good, sir. Well, we thank you for taking the time to visit with us this morning with our listeners up and down the Keys. And we wish you the best of luck. We'll continue to follow your campaign
Mike,
as well. Yes, sir.
I had one other comment.
Yes, sir.
right out of my head. I forgot about it. Very important for voters, for the residents who vote in Monroe County to understand every Monroe County seat, not Key West, but every Monroe County seat up for election this year, right now, looking at all the candidates, they're all going to be decided at the primary, August 18th. So everybody, please vote by mail, vote early, vote on August 18th, but your vote is most important because the decision is made then. And if you don't vote, you don't have a say in who your next leadership folks will be.
Very important point to bring out, and I will highlight that as we have our next discussion here following you with the Honorable Sherry Hodes, Supervisor of Elections. So thank you for bringing forth that point. That is important. Tim, thank you again for being here. It's been a pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very well. Thank you. Tim Urbanski, running for Utility Board Seat D, Keys Talk 96.9 1025, the Talk of the Keys. For more, timforutilityboard.com, and also the meet and greet coming up tonight. You can meet with Tim, Blue Flamingo Resort, Roosevelt Boulevard, starting at 5:30. This is Keys Talk 96.9 1025, the Talk of the entire Keys. We'll be back in a moment.
Keys Energy Services rebate program can help to reduce your energy bill. Keys offers rebates for 14 qualified energy-efficient items ranging from $25 to $450. The program also includes an electric vehicle charger rebate for up to $400. Customers looking for more information on the rebate program, a complete listing of qualified items, and information on how to apply should log on to keysenergy.com. At Keys Energy, we're growing greener every day. Here's your chance to join us and put some green back in your wallet.
At Just Beds of Key West, we have trained our staff to teach you how to drink 3 beers in 30 minutes. And after that, we might be able to sell you a mattress. It might take 4 beers. We are willing to do whatever it takes. Shop Just Beds of Key West on Flagler Avenue, where there's always a cold one in the fridge.
This is Allison Crean for the City of Key West, inviting you to ride the bus. Sit back and relax in a clean, comfortable, air-conditioned bus and let us do the driving. Key West Transit offers public bus service to anywhere between Key West and Marathon.
Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts and Barge is your proven expert in boat lifts, service, parts, or construction throughout the entire Keys, with locations in Tavernier and in Marathon. Hurricane season is almost here, and we all know what a disaster a hurricane is. Protect yourself against a hurricane with tie-down service from Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts. They can custom manufacture your next aluminum lift for any size boat or yacht. Many Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts feature a custom gearbox with variable speed option. They also build docks and cargo elevators and install pilings with their barge service. Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts and Barge is part of the Waterfront Brands Group, which includes Shoremaster, Hydro Hoist, and Tide Tamer, and their full line of parts and service appointments are convenient for all of the Keys. With their location in Marathon at Town Square Mall, 11400 Overseas Highway Suite 211, and their main showroom at 94401 Overseas Highway Tavernier. Have trouble getting on and off your boat? Neptune Atlantic Boat Lifts offers a full line of custom boarding platforms and catwalks. Call for a quote or visit NeptuneAtlanticBoatLifts.com.
If it's happening in the Keys, you will hear about it here. This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9 1025.
And good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9 1025. The Talk of the Keys. Very busy morning with that breaking news still coming out of Key West. We'll talk about that further as we get more developments with the Navy apparently terminating the Key West Mole Pier lease with the City of Key West. That coming specifically from Above the Fold online and several other sources. We're going to turn to the Honorable Sherry Hodes, the Supervisor of Elections for Monroe County. Good morning to you, Sherry.
Good morning.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So we actually had a few public officials and those seeking public office here on this morning, and we appreciate you coming on with us as well. The new website has all kinds of information, votemonroeflkeys.com. There are all kinds of resources there for candidates and the public alike, including some specific timetables for qualifying periods for Monroe County offices and special districts. So if you could first off give us the timetable and deadlines for the primary and the general election, if you would.
Okay, so the primary is going to be August 18th. General is November 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we walk back a little ways, this Monday, May 11th, any candidate that is wanting to qualify by petition would have to have all of their petitions in and all of those petitions accepted by noon on May 11th, which is this Monday.
Okay.
So the candidates know that. We put some things out on social media. Now we're talking about it here on the radio. Very important date for the candidates, May 11th, this Monday at noon. All petitions have to be in, and you have to have the right amount of petitions that you were supposed to get, and they have to be accepted. So May 11th at noon, obviously, we want people to get those petitions in now. Many have already gotten their petitions in, so they will be qualifying by petition in June. And then June 8th to June 12th is our qualifying period. You can qualify by petition by bringing in your petition certification, along with several other documents that you have to bring in. That is June 8th to June 12th by noon on June 12th. And then we'll know which elections are going to move forward into the general, because as we all know, if it is a partisan election, anybody can come in during June 8th to June 12th to qualify.
So,
Qualify.
yeah, so just to clarify then, there are unopposed elections, and there are some, it would seem at this point, as it stands, that the primaries could decide all of the elected offices for the county, but there still is the opportunity for that to change by June.
Yes, and yeah, we have to make sure we remember that it is possible that all of the races could be decided at the primary, but we don't want to say that because June 12th, an opposing person in a partisan race could come in, qualify by paying the qualifying fees, and now we're on to the general.
Okay. And the partisan races versus nonpartisan, that varies obviously by the office.
Yes, by the office. So you have like the county commission race. Right now we have a couple county commissioners that do not have any opposition. If somebody comes in during June 8th to June 12th and they qualify by paying their qualifying fee, then you have a race now that will have to go on to the general.
And the petitions, though, you said petitions have to be in by Monday?
By this Monday, by noon. And so obviously we need those in before Monday because we have to check the signatures. We have to check everything on that petition form. And you don't want to wait till Monday to be giving us the rest of your petitions.
Okay. Honorable Sherry Hody, Supervisor of Elections, Monroe County. It is, I'm not sure how you keep it all straight, Sherry. There's a lot of different caveats depending upon the office. And, some of the elections are decided within districts. Some of them are countywide. Which are which there as well? I mean, that also varies by office.
Yeah, that also varies by office. You have the school board race is from Ocean Reef to Key West.
Yeah.
Your Board of County Commission is Ocean Reef to Key West. Now, just to make it more confusing, the school board race is nonpartisan. So you don't know if the person is Republican, Democrat, NPA, but then your Board of County Commission, again, is partisan. So you will know, and it will be on the ballot if they are Republican, Democrat, NPA, and so forth. So yeah, it gets confusing, but it's very interesting. And you kind of just get this stuff in your head in compartments, and you get ready for someone as great as you to call and ask some great questions about dates.
There's plenty of that. Now, the judges race being unopposed, that has been decided. Is that right?
That's the circuit court judges.
Yes.
The circuit judges were all unopposed, and so yes, their race is over.
Yep.
In fact, on Friday, I got from the state their actual certification of qualification, and then that also means that they have the position. So
Yep, absolutely. So, Judge Judge Wilson was running unopposed, and he will be the next circuit court judge then. So
Yes,
congratulations.
and remember, he is the county court judge right now,
Yes.
and he'll move into the 16th Circuit Court.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Well, congratulations. We can announce that anyway. But as you said, then it was qualifying period for Monroe County offices, special districts, 6/8 through the 12th. That is of June. And then early voting for the primary election occurs August 3rd through August 15th. That's going to be here before we know it. Mail-in
Yes.
ballots have been sent, though, haven't they?
No, the ballot request forms.
That's
have
what it
come.
was.
Yeah, we have around 9,000 right now. July 2nd, the overseas vote by mail ballots will go out.
Okay.
And July 9th, everybody else will, their ballots will be mailed out July 9th. So the candidates and the voters need to be looking for their ballots right after July 9th.
Yeah, I misspoke. It was not mail-in ballots that I meant to say. That would be impossible because the candidates have not all been declared yet. So yes,
They haven't
indeed.
been qualified.
Yeah, and if we can still do write-in candidates, or do they have to be pre-qualified as well?
No, you can do write-in candidates, but
Okay.
they do have to fill out paperwork so that the state can know that they want to be that write-in candidate. So,
Yeah.
I mean, people are still going to write in Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, but I'm trying to ask people to stop doing that this year.
Well, and your office has been very diligent in going through the voter rolls as well to make sure that not only those on the ballot, but those casting their votes are legitimate as well.
Yes, we're really working hard on this. They've always worked hard on it. We've just taken it to another level here. In fact, next week, I think it will be the first time this year that I will be reporting to the state on what our voter rolls look like. We do that twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is we sent out 51,000 vote by mail requests with a letter from me. And what that does is any of that mail that comes back, we have to sort it and then put in if an undeliverable mail came back. And that's another way that we clean our voter rolls. So not just did I send out that vote by mail ballot request form, but we're also using that activity for our very important list maintenance. And list maintenance is how we keep our voter rolls clean. And we do have to report list maintenance activities twice a year to the state.
Okay. VoteMonroeFLKeys.gov is where you find out more. You get all of the resources available to you as a voter. The candidates have their resources there as well. And you can go to that website to request a vote by mail ballot, or you can call the various offices of the Supervisor of Elections, 3 different locations in the county. And that can be accomplished right there. So the Honorable Sherry Hody is with us, and she is Supervisor of Elections in Monroe County. Sherry, I hope to have many more conversations with you because we still need some help unpacking all of these details. But
yes,
yeah, absolutely. We're very grateful you are there with your very dedicated staff to keep this all straight for us. It's a big job.
Yeah.
But I dominated the conversation and the questions this morning. Is there anything else you should mention or would like to mention at this point?
I wanted to mention that the redistricting law that was put into play on Monday with the new congressional district maps, which would be your U.S. Congress, is what that congressional district map has to do with.
Yes.
It does not affect Monroe County at all. The entire county is still congressional district number 28. So at this point in time, Representative Carlos Jimenez holds that congressional district. He is up for re-election. But the good thing for us and for Monroe County voters is that we stayed with only one congressional district. So no changes. And the second thing I wanted to say is the Florida SAVE Act that was signed into law on April 1st by Governor DeSantis, that does not affect our voters at all. It will not affect anything until January 1st, 2027, when we're going to just be looking at some other voter identification. So voters, please do not worry about the Florida Save Act for this year for voting. Everything remains the same.
Okay, you heard it directly from the Supervisor of Elections, Honorable Sherry Hodes. We will take that to heart, and we appreciate that clarification as well. So with that, I know you've got a busy day to get to, and we have a busy few months ahead of us, but thank you for making the time to visit with our listeners and provide transparency and clarity to this entire process.
Yes, you're welcome.
Great. Well, my best to your lovely second half, other half. I don't know if he's better half, equal half. Put it that way. Perry, hello. And you have a wonderful day. The two of you. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye now. Sherry Hodes, the Honorable Sherry Hodes, the Supervisor of Elections, Monroe County. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. A lot of information to get to today, and we'll continue with doing just that. Joining Glenn Beck at breaking news always as soon as it happens. Local, state, national news every half hour, and weather around the clock. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. Thank you for listening.